Hey guys, it's David from theunlocker.com, and today, really quickly, I'm going to show you a complete guide to replacing your screen on your iPhone 5C. So the screen I'm using, you can click the link below to get that. Once it arrives, we can get started. Okay, so first we've got to remove the old screen. So we're going to unscrew the two screws at the bottom of the phone using the included pentalobe screwdriver in the kit you bought, if you bought the one that I recommended. Otherwise, whichever one you bought, hopefully it came with them. Then you're going to attach the included suction cup to the screen at the lowest part without going over the home button. If you do, it'll cause basically an air pocket and you'll just lose suction. So as close as you can without actually going over it. Then we're going to pry the screen up with the included pry tool. Make sure to not pull it back too far when you do. Just pull it back to about 90 degrees. If you pull back too far, you could hurt the cables that connect it to the motherboard, and that's a whole nother mess. You can then unscrew the screws that hold down the metal plate over where the screen's cables are attached to the motherboard and remove that metal plate. Again, set all of these aside on a piece of paper to make life easy. Then we can pop off the connectors attaching the screen to the motherboard and then separate the screen from the rest of the phone and set that aside. Then looking at the new and old screen side by side, you'll notice with most screens you buy, the new screen will be missing the home button, the earpiece, the front-facing camera, and basically the entire top part. So we need to now transfer over those from the old broken screen to the new one. So first, we'll unscrew the two screws holding down the earpiece, etc. Then remove the metal bracket and set that aside. Then we need to pry up the camera and everything else, which is held on by loose glue. So we're gonna do that, just do it really carefully and pull very slowly to get it to come off. Then we can remove the two plastic brackets under that as well, because we're also gonna need these. Then we can remove the metal plate on the back of the screen. Now to do that, we'll unscrew all of the screws on either side of it, then the one at the bottom near the home button, and the one at the top, and then we can pry it off. Now we can remove the home button by unscrewing the screws holding down the metal bracket over it, removing the bracket, and pushing out the home button from the other side. And be careful, by the way, because the metal bracket does have a small piece of lightly glued down, just like the top part did. So be careful to just peel that and not rip it. Now we can just work backwards, installing these things onto the new screen. We can put the home button in and put the metal bracket on top and stick it back on, then screw that back down as well. Next, we're gonna remove the protective film on the back of the new screen if yours came with any, and we can place the metal bracket from the old screen onto the new one and begin screwing that back on. Then we'll put the plastic brackets back on and set the front camera, etc. on it, with making sure to put everything back in the same way that it came out. For example, there's a cable that should be bent back on itself with a small metal piece that goes into a small hole underneath the camera. Then we can line the earpiece back up, put the metal bracket back on top of it, and screw that back down. We can then attach the screen's cables to the motherboard, making sure that they are properly connected, and put the metal bracket on top of them and screw that down as well. Now we can slowly and carefully close the screen back down bit by bit, making sure that nothing is getting crushed as we do it, and making sure that it is snapping down into place. Before we put the pentalobe screws back in, we should turn it on and just make sure that it works. Then we can put the two pentalobe screws back in at the bottom of the phone, and we're all set. There guys, I hope that helped some of you save some money. If you like this video though, please thumbs up it or share it. It is greatly appreciated. If you want more videos like this or other videos, you should probably check out my channel. And then if you like what you see, please subscribe. As always though, thanks for watching.